What happens when one of football's most talked about families turns a quiet weekend into a viral moment? Over the weekend, a wholesome surprise from Shedeur Sanders. Yes, that's Shedeur, the rising quarterback and son of Deion primetime Sanders, set social media on fire. Reports earlier in the week claimed he wouldn't make the trip back to Colorado for homecoming, citing preparation and rest during his bye week. But fans were stunned when Shedeur suddenly showed up at Wholesome Field, walking straight up to his dad, the legendary Coach Prime, in a moment that felt straight out of a movie. Deion's reaction said it all. Pure disbelief mixed with pride. "Why are you here?" he asked, laughing, before pulling his son in for a hug. It wasn't about football. It wasn't about fame. It was about family. Two men who've lived their entire lives under the spotlight, finding a moment of warmth in front of millions. But this visit hit deeper than most people realize, because while it looked like a simple father-son reunion, it carried weight for both men. Colorado's been struggling this season, and the Browns haven't exactly found their rhythm either. Seeing Shedeur return home wasn't just heartwarming, it was symbolic. It reminded fans of what drives both men: connection, resilience, and belief. The video instantly went viral, sparking conversations across sports media. Was this just a visit or a message? A reminder that even when football feels like chaos, family still comes first? But before we answer that, let's rewind to how this unexpected reunion actually happened. Sometimes, the moments that mean the most are the ones no one sees coming. Just days before Colorado's homecoming weekend, reports surfaced that Shedeur Sanders wouldn't be flying back to Boulder to visit his father, Coach Prime. The reason seems simple enough. He was in the middle of a crucial bye week, focused on recovery and preparation with the Browns. For fans, it made sense. The NFL grind doesn't stop, even for family. But what no one knew was that Shedeur had a surprise planned all along. When the Colorado Buffaloes hit the field for their homecoming matchup, the camera suddenly caught a familiar face walking down the sideline. Shedeur Sanders, calm, smiling, dressed in casual gear, moving through the crowd like he belonged there. The crowd's reaction said everything. Gasps turned to cheers, and social media lit up within minutes. Then came the moment that turned a simple visit into something unforgettable. Deion Sanders spotted his son and froze, his trademark swagger giving way to raw emotion. "Why are you here?" he asked, laughing, before pulling Shedeur into a hug. You could hear the surprise in his voice, but also something deeper: relief. The two shared a short but powerful exchange. Light teasing, a few heartfelt words, and laughter that reminded everyone just how close they are. In a season where both men have faced pressure, criticism, and long hours away from family, this was a rare break from the chaos. It wasn't a press moment. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was real. A father seeing his son when he least expected it, and a son reminding his dad that no matter how tough things get, he's still right there in his corner. But this wasn't just a wholesome family reunion. It came at a time when both of their worlds needed it the most. To understand why this simple visit meant so much, you have to look at what's been happening on both sides of the Sanders story. For Shedeur, life in the NFL has been anything but predictable. After being drafted and stepping into Cleveland's high-pressure environment, the rookie quarterback has faced the growing pains that come with adjusting from college dominance to professional expectations. Reports have mentioned limited reps, nagging injuries, and a crowded quarterback room, all factors that can test any young player's patience. The bright lights of the NFL are different from the college spotlight. Here, every throw is judged, every mistake magnified. But through it all, Shedeur has remained composed, carrying the same confidence and poise that made him a star at Colorado. Meanwhile, back in Boulder, Deion Coach Prime Sanders has been fighting a very different battle. After a hot start last year that turned the college football world upside down, the Buffaloes have hit turbulence. Injuries, inconsistency, and constant media pressure have taken their toll. Critics have questioned his methods, fans have grown restless, and the team's early season spark has dimmed under the weight of expectations. So when Shedeur showed up unexpectedly during Colorado's homecoming weekend, it wasn't just a son visiting his father. It was a moment that cut through the noise surrounding both of them. A reminder that before the cameras, contracts, and criticism, there's still a bond that keeps them grounded. For Deion, seeing his son on that field again, even briefly, must have been a rare breath of calm in a storm of headlines. And for Shedeur, it was a quiet way to show support, not through words, but through presence. Because sometimes, showing up is the loudest message you can send. And that message carried even more meaning when you look at the father-son connection that's always defined their journey. There's something powerful about seeing Deion Sanders, the ultimate showman, the man who built a career on swagger and confidence, suddenly turns soft when his son walks into the room. For years, we've seen Coach Prime command locker rooms, own press conferences, and set stadiums buzzing with his charisma. But in that viral clip, for a few seconds, all of that faded. It wasn't Coach Prime talking, it was Dad. When Shedeur smiled and said, "I know you need your son," it hit deeper than fans expected. It wasn't just a casual joke between father and son. It was a moment that said, "I see you." Both men in their own worlds have been carrying enormous weight. Deion, trying to rebuild a struggling Colorado team while keeping his critics at bay. And Shedeur working to carve out a name beyond being Coach Prime's kid. In that short exchange, you could feel years of shared pressure, love, and resilience come together. This wasn't their first emotional moment caught on camera, but it might be their most human. No locker room speeches, no reporters, just two men reminding each other that behind all the headlines and expectations, family still comes first. For Shedeur, that surprise visit was his way of saying, "I've got you." For Deion, that hug was proof that no matter how wild the season gets, he's raised a son who understands what truly matters. Fans across social media couldn't stop talking about it, not just because it was wholesome, but because it was rare. In a sport driven by ego and performance, vulnerability like this stands out. It reminded everyone that greatness isn't just measured in stats or wins. It's in the moments where heart takes center stage. But that emotional moment also left fans wondering, was this just love and timing? Or was Shedeur sending a message through his visit? For most people watching, it was just a heartwarming family moment. A son surprising his dad. But for fans who followed the Sanders story closely, the visit sparked a wave of questions and speculation. Why now? Why this weekend? And why after Shedeur had reportedly said he wouldn't make the trip? Some fans think it was simply timing. The Browns had a bye week, giving Shedeur the rare window to fly back home and recharge. But others believe there was something more behind the visit, maybe even a statement. Both Deion and Shedeur have faced mounting criticism lately. Coach Prime for Colorado's recent struggles, and Shedeur for adjusting to the demands of the NFL. Showing up like this, unannounced and genuine, might have been Shedeur's way of saying, "We're still united, we're still good." There's also the emotional layer. Deion's been open about how much he misses having Shedeur on the field beside him. Their chemistry, their leadership connection, the rhythm they built at Colorado. So when Shedeur appeared out of nowhere, it wasn't just a surprise. It was a subtle reminder of what that program once had and what it's currently missing. The moment even fueled online theories about whether Shedeur's visit could be connected to Deion's future. Is it possible he was offering support at a critical moment when critics are circling? Or was it simply one son stepping up when his father needed a reminder of why he started this journey in the first place? Whatever the reason, the visit said more than any press conference could. It wasn't about fame or image. It was a silent message of loyalty and grounding. That no matter how chaotic the outside world gets, family remains the one play that never fails. And yet, this reunion also raises another question. What comes next for both of them after that emotional moment? Now that the viral clip has made its rounds across every sports outlet and social feed, the big question everyone's asking is, what happens next for the Sanders family? Because as emotional and heartfelt as that moment was, it came at a crossroads for both Deion and Shedeur, each facing their own unique set of challenges and turning points. For Shedeur, this season could define how the NFL views him moving forward. He's shown flashes of brilliance, poise, accuracy, and that calm presence that made him a star at Colorado. But he's also fighting through adversity. Limited snaps, new systems, and the pressure of being Coach Prime's son have all created an uphill battle. But the way he's handled himself, quietly, maturely, and with heart, it's starting to shift opinions. That visit back to Colorado wasn't just a gesture of love. It might have also reignited something inside him. Sometimes, seeing where you came from reminds you why you started. As for Deion, the path ahead is equally complex. Colorado's season has been a roller coaster, filled with highs of national attention and lows of tough losses. Critics have been loud, questioning whether the primetime energy has lost its magic. But that brief reunion with his son might have been the reminder he needed. That leadership isn't just about wins. It's about resilience, legacy, and staying true to what you believe in. And together, the Sanders brand, father and son, continues to captivate. Whether it's in the NFL or college football, the bond they share transcends the scoreboard. Fans are already speculating that we might see Shedeur and Coach Prime reunite professionally one day. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Or maybe that surprise visit was the first hint of something bigger. The start of another chapter in a story that's far from finished. Because if there's one thing we've learned about the Sanders family, it's this. They never do anything halfway. At its core, this wasn't just a surprise visit. It was a statement about what really matters when the lights dim and the headlines fade. Shedeur Sanders showing up at Colorado's homecoming wasn't about media attention or public image. It was about grounding, about connection, and about two men reminding the world that family always comes before football. Deion Sanders, for all his larger-than-life confidence, has always been open about one thing. His sons keep him steady. They're not just players in his story. They are the story. And when Shedeur walked back into that stadium, it wasn't just nostalgia. It was a quiet reminder of everything that built their journey. From late nights studying film together to early mornings chasing impossible dreams, they've weathered every storm side by side. That moment was proof that no matter how far the game takes them, the bond remains unshakable. For fans, this small moment hit like something much bigger. It showed that even in the cutthroat worlds of college and professional football, where critics wait for every stumble, authenticity still cuts through. It reminded people that behind the highlights and the pressure are human beings fighting the same battles we all do. Staying connected, staying grounded, and finding strength in family. So, was this visit just a sweet gesture or something deeper? Maybe both. Maybe it was Shedeur's way of saying, we're still here, no matter what. Or maybe it was Deion's reminder to himself that no matter how the season unfolds, the real victory isn't on the field. It's in the relationships that outlast the game. Because in the Sanders family, football may be the platform, but love is the legacy. And that's what makes this story more than just another viral moment. It's a reflection of what greatness truly looks like when the cameras aren't rolling.